of all, thank you for being here today. I'm so honored to be invited by Tu and Marte to come and speak about the fashion industry and my background, as well as some pearls of wisdom I'm going to share for success in fashion, but also business in general. I'm really excited to be here. The ICE Institute was not here when I was here. I graduated in 2001, and I think it's super important for industry, any job, whether you're an accountant or working in a nightclub, these certain things are important. So fashion, I was always interested in fashion. I studied a lot of watching TV or anything I could get my hands on, but there was nothing that could compare with being there and working in the industry and learning. So today, you're gonna watch a film after I speak called The First Monday in May. And it's about Andrew Bolton, who is this famous fashion curator you may not know, but in fashion he is revered, at the Metropolitan Museum in New York. He does the Costume Institute. And there's the film I think is super exciting. It's really the top of fashion, from museum art, giving credit of fashion and a dress, a suit, to be art, which it really is. And there's a whole multi-billion-dollar industry based on that. And there are so many roles that you can have within the industry. It's a matter of what your skill set is, what your passion is. So I'll talk a little bit today, and then you'll see the film. But I just want to thank you all for being here. I want to ask a couple questions. So the first one I wrote down is a silly question. How many of you have an interest in fashion? Everybody? You wouldn't be here. So how many of you have experience in fashion, whether you're a designer, internship, anything? A couple of you? Okay, that's terrific. And you've all seen The Devil Wears Prada, right? Okay. That's a little bit real. It's not totally real, but there is an element of truth to that. So I will always be honest with you, whether I interact with you one-on-one or just in a group, that there's excitement, but you also have to work hard, like in any job. So is everyone here interested in a career in fashion, or you just want to learn? If you're interested in a career, maybe? Okay. So I just want to get a handle on how much interest there is, which I think is a lot, which I'm glad for, because that's what we're going to talk about. So today I'll tell you a bit about my background, also my pearls of wisdom. I did 10. This is my company logo here and a little pearl necklace I had a graphic designer do, because I thought it was fun. It was a good way for me to give a little bit of wisdom and also help you make your paths a little more easier, learn from maybe a mistake, a success, how to learn from someone who's done it, and make your career that much more successful and exciting. So I've worked in the fashion industry for about 10 years. This was the first Monday in May. Recently, this is from the past year, Andrew Bolton, the famous curator at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. If you have or have not been to the Costume Institute in New York, I recommend to definitely go. You could take the train on a weekend or go sometime in the summer when you have more flexibility. But it's really terrific. It's the science and the art of fashion, and that's what it's all about. And everybody who works in the industry is super passionate about it. So having gone there, that gives you a little credibility. And you can learn. You learn what you like, what you don't like. So this is actually Rihanna's stylist, Mel Ottenberg, who dressed her for the Metropolitan Museum Red Carpet Gala, which you hear about. It's like the Academy Awards of fashion. It's so exciting. I was invited this year, and it was just a beautiful occasion. Mel styled Rihanna in this gorgeous yellow dress that got so much press and so much buzz because it was a Chinese fashion designer, and the whole occasion was about China. So he became famous because he styles Rihanna, and that's the type of job that is not out of the realm of possibility. So I worked for Elite Models. I turned down modeling contracts when I was 17 to pursue my education here at Villanova and make friendships and study and be a college student, which was an amazing experience. I have walked runways We spoke to someone earlier who's here, who's working with Alice and Olivia. I walked their first runway show as a model before she was famous, and it was so amazing. I've been in fashion campaigns. I've lived in Europe and in cities all around Europe. I've styled celebrities, and it's super fun, but it's not a job that everyone can do. I was fortunate to have certain skills and criteria where I could be hired as a model. It was my dream, super passionate about it my whole life, and I was lucky to have that opportunity, which I'm grateful for. I worked for the fashion houses of Diane von Furstenberg and Vivienne Tam. Diane is the president of the Council of Fashion Designers of America. You may know, I think most of you have heard her name because she's very famous. And she's a rock star woman. Both of these women were immigrant entrepreneurs that started from very little financially from their background, but they had a dream, they had a creativity, a passion, they pursued it. Diane is known for her signature wrap dress. In the 1970s, she was on the cover of Newsweek magazine for selling a certain number of tons and tons of dresses. Then she found a niche in the market where she knew women were missing something. Vivienne is on the aesthetic of East meets West fashion, so Asia to Europe and America and everywhere in between. So it's really fantastic. They've both found their niche and built an entire multi-million-dollar business, maybe even billion-dollar business, depending on which one, for themselves, and they've become role models. So I'm really excited that I was able to work for both of them. And I think that's it's something that you really want to do is work for someone you admire, you look up to, and learn. That's the first thing. So 2 days after graduation, this is Vivienne. She does a lot with technology, so that's her design on a laptop. They both had books. They've both done fashion. They've done everything. My first pearl of wisdom is dress for success. So we're here to talk about fashion. What to wear? Did anybody wonder what to wear today? There's no dress code, so don't worry. I know you're students. When in doubt, I say, in fashion, or if you're going for an accounting interview, wear black. If you're looking for a job at a nightclub, you can wear your little silver miniskirt, and that might get you in the door. But otherwise, go really conservative. So I recommend that. I think depending on your budget, I would go for fewer, more conservative, elegant pieces. You always want to exude quality and elegance. So I thought about what to wear today. Do I want to be fun and hip, or businessy, or somewhere in between? So that's kind of what I recommend. Black's an easy go-to. It's a safe bet. Although you're going to be selling clothes or designing clothes or styling clothes that are all the colors of the rainbow. So I think you're selling a luxury lifestyle in fashion, so you always want to think high-end. You always want to be elegant as you behave, but also as you present yourself. And that's something where people will take that and respect what you're saying, what you're doing, a little bit more. It may sound superficial, but the fashion industry is superficial, and it's beautiful, and it's art, and it's so fun. So the next pearl, EQ. So my mom always talked about EQ. So you'll hear a few words about that. You can be intelligent, IQ, left brain, with the rules and protocol, and that's important. But there's a creativity spot here. And a people skills. Are you street smart? Are you people smart? So it's pretty important. When you combine both, there's nothing you can't do. But you can maximize your IQ with the EQ. And that's what separates people from who may have an idea, a concept, a dream, but who are actually doing it and are interacting with people. One of the biggest lessons I learned from a mentor at Vivienne Tam that someone asked about earlier is you're always going to have to deal with people, no matter what. So how you handle every interaction, every person, will help you a lot. So EQ part 2. I told you we'd hear about it again. This one I can thank my mom for. It's consider your audience. I have been hearing about this my whole life. You want to know who you're talking to. Before I go to an event, I think about what is the nature of the event? Who is going to be there? and what is it about? What are they interested in? So this little funny cartoon says, what do you want to say? And what they're interested in. And it's a Venn diagram. There's a little bit of overlap here. So be realistic. Maybe you want to talk about your Saturday night plans, but maybe they don't want to hear about it. Maybe they want to hear about the Met Costume Institute ball. Maybe they want to hear about the news. So there's a relevance section here. And this is, analyze, understand demographics, interests, environment, needs, then customize the expectations. And that'll help you with people. So if you're a little nervous in social situations, that's totally normal, but get more practice. Excuse me. Get more practice. I remember being at a party here at Villanova, and one of my girlfriends who had no experience in New York business, and I had a little bit from my fashion experience, she said she admired me because I was able to talk to any guy at the party. I didn't just come up with that. I had a little experience. So I would introduce people and take care of everybody and make sure the social situation was flowing. And my friends actually appreciated that. And I didn't give myself any credit for that. I still don't, but that was because I had experience. So just get out there, try a little bit. Excuse me. Pearl number 4, think globally and act locally. So I don't know how much you know about my jewelry business that I own now, but I design cultural symbols from around the world. We focus on a scarab, which is a cultural symbol of art from Egypt, a lotus flower, which is a symbol in Asia, a feather, which is from Native America. So I've lived in Paris, Athens, Barcelona, London, New York, and an inner city in New Jersey when I taught for a couple years. So my exposure to these cultures as a model, and also to the students I taught, which were multicultural in New Jersey, has given me a perspective. I can talk to anyone. I've met people from all walks of life, all backgrounds, everything you can imagine, and statuses and groups, and you can kind of throw me anywhere and I'll float. And that's because of my experience. So if you can't travel, go to a museum, go to a performance. If there's an art gallery on campus and that's easy to get to in between classes, check that out. It'll help you be more worldly and more understanding, and then make a difference in where you are with that knowledge. And people will respect that. Find a role model and a mentor. So this is a big one. The role model can be different from your mentor. I think they're both important. The role model, these are common sense terms you've heard before, but listen, there's a reason you hear it again and again. The role model could be someone, a celebrity, an actor, a designer. We talked about a buyer, and the mentor could be someone that you actually can meet. The other people you may or may not meet Diane von Furstenberg, but maybe you will. But look at her, learn from her. Google is everybody's best friend. You can learn everything. Read her book. Diane has a book. I read her book before I worked for her. I looked at her website. What is the brand about? What does she embody? What are her values that is important to her? So when I went in there, they respected me and they appreciated what I could bring to the table because I had done that research. I spoke to 2 girls earlier today who met with me during my office hours, and they knew about me. They knew who I had worked for, what I had done in fashion. That shows respect. It shows that you've done your homework, and people like that. The mentor could be someone that you actually have access to. So, it could be a mom. My mom's been a great mentor, but she didn't know anything about fashion. So once I was in fashion, it was a different ballgame. I had to learn a little bit more. So you can have multiple mentors, but I think they're both important, especially for women in today's world. It's important to have people to look up to guide you. It can help you have more success and fewer failures. They say hindsight is 20/20, and they say that for a reason. So I've made some mistakes. I've had some great successes. And other women have taught me about their successes and their failures, and that saved me a couple steps here and there, and that's been pretty great. So I hope that for you as well. Experience matters. So When I first started modeling, I was really excited about my future. And someone said, the top rock stars, whether it's music, fashion, or acting, in these creative fields are at the top. Now you'll notice this top's a little small, bottom's really big. So be realistic about that. You may not want to just jump right in and start your own clothing line. Maybe you can. Get experience. That's my little free advice, pearls of wisdom. Go work for somebody that you think you could learn from. If you want to have your own fashion line, if you want to work and be a buyer, go try to find the company you think would be great to work for. Try multiple. You can always start small and work up to different brands. That's okay too. But I think get the experience before you go out on your own. You always hear of those Silicon Valley dropouts that don't finish their education, have a dream, they want to start a fashion line, start a tech company. There are very few. There's one person up here. So that's the reality, is actually, so you get experience, you're saving yourself steps. You get in there and you know what to do before it comes. So you're ready to face your challenges, and it really works out much better. So that's actually what I did, and I think it's important. I think it's a safe way to go. And to be realistic, always hold your dreams. Maybe we're in the ICE Institute, so it's about entrepreneurship, innovation, and creativity. 3 things that I'm super into, values I hold high. But learn from people who have done it before, and then go out. It'll help save you steps, make life a whole lot easier. So work for the best and learn, what I was saying. If you have your own clothing business or your own tech company, there's your plan and there's reality. So entrepreneurship sounds really exciting. It is, and you always want to try and explore. But when I first started my jewelry company, it was a hobby in my parents' basement. I was pulling wires and beads together. Somehow it folded, and this is what I thought was going to happen. Super fast, super easy, straight on, and I'd be a rock star designer. Do you think that's what happened? So Diane von Furstenberg, Vivian Tam, extremely successful, admirable role models. And I'm sure if we ask them here, they would agree that this is the reality of starting your own business. You start with a bike, and then there's a ditch. Then you go up and there's a forest. There's a little, that's a rainstorm. And then you get to the end. And it's a process. It's constantly evolving process, and it's super fun. But the more experience you get, the more straight your path's going to be, and the fewer rainstorms you'll have. So that's something that I recommend. How do you go about this? So say you're creative, innovative, and an entrepreneur mentality. I would say think outside the box. Make a difference as an intrapreneur first. So I'm not sure if you know this word. Some people do if you're in business school, maybe not. Intrapreneur is an inside entrepreneur who works within a larger firm, and you use entrepreneurial business skills within a safer umbrella, within a little space. You have a job, but maybe you take on other responsibilities. So you're saving the risk factor. Instead of going on your own and having that rocky, crazy ride at first, go work for someone and be an intrapreneur first. So I worked for Diane von Furstenberg. I'm not going to tell you all my stories, but she's an incredible woman, and I was lucky that I was hired as a model first. Same for Vivian Tam. And I slowly, bit by bit, earned the respect of my supervisors and the designers themselves, and they gave me more responsibility. I volunteered on weekends to go to Bergdorf Goodman and do the displays so that my boss didn't have to. Somehow, they let me do it. I didn't get paid anymore, but now I can say I did that. I did visual merchandising for Diane von Furstenberg at Bergdorf Goodman. I'm very proud to have said that, but that wasn't what I was hired for. I just was an intrapreneur. So now I know. So I went to Vivian Tam next. And you know what they did there? Because I had done this before with the visual merchandising and the styling, they let me style celebrities. So I actually styled celebrities for the red carpet because I worked as an intrapreneur and I took on a little bit more. Now I have my own jewelry company, 10 years later. Because of that experience, I'm prepared, and my experience I have within those two companies, I'm prepared to run and operate a sustainable business. I know all the facets, public relations, sales, accounting, design. It's not just playing with jewelry. It's not just shopping. Fashion is work, it's a business, it's a ton of math. It's not just creativity, it's a combination of everything. And because of my experience, working as an entrepreneur, working for the best, using my EQ and my IQ, and dressing for success, 8 pearls later, I think I'm doing okay. So be on time, be hungry, and be humble. I'm not telling you what to do, but just take my pearls of wisdom, whether I've seen other people do it, maybe I've made a mistake. Those are 3 things that are important. So being on time is important. Everybody may not agree, but I'll tell you, the people that are at the top, the most influential people that I've met, they're never late. If you're late for a social occasion, people won't trust you for a business opportunity. Say, I was in New York and you happen to be up there and we meet for a coffee and you're half an hour late. Am I gonna call my friend who works for Saks buying program and get you an internship? I'm not gonna trust that. And it's happened for me. When I was working around, I can't say, and it's not you, it's just, I was working in Milan as an elite model, foreign city, foreign people, foreign language, foreign transit system. There were no cars. I was trying to map out the subway and the metro and going everywhere. I was totally lost. I was late for appointments. And who got the job? A different model. Did I get the job? No. They were like, see you later, because I showed up late. So what did I have to do was study the transit system, figure out the culture, learn a little bit of Italian pretty quickly. Dove est means where is. I'm very good at dove est. And then I did okay. I was shooting in Venice as a fashion model for an Italian fashion magazine with beautiful colored buildings behind me and black fancy clothes. And if I wasn't on time for that casting, it never would have happened. So people will trust you more. If you're hungry, don't be too cocky, be hungry. When you're starting at the bottom with an intern, you're an intern. So everybody who's hiring you, who's managing you, has worked to that position. Whether you're an entrepreneur or a manager within a business like a Saks Fifth Avenue or Diane von Furstenberg, those people have worked to that level. So they want to see you and they expect you to be hungry, humble, and work. And then they'll open doors for you. They'll help you out. They'll hook you up with an opportunity. I put in my dues. You pay your dues, and then you get more. It doesn't just happen overnight. So just understand that even in fashion, as glamorous as it is, it's not a playground, it's a business. So people are pretty serious. So my last pearl